this is why I'm mentioning this to you. Look at what I did. The first year, I talked about it and I gave the proofs that it's not permissible, hoping after someone would come to discuss. No one came. But instead of coming to discuss, they got mad and they went on the internet and they started making a sub with Sheikh. Who is that guy think he is? He's a new Muslim. We've been doing this. Is that the way you do it? I took a position. I gave you the reason why I said this is not from Islam. You won't find an ayat, you won't find the hadith. None of the companions did it. None of the imams, the 4 imams. Your Imam Abu Hanifa never spoke about it. Abu Hanifa's students never spoke about it. How do you think that this thing passed them by? This thing was introduced to the Muslims 400 years after the Prophet ﷺ, and it was introduced by people who cursed the companions. The celebration of the Prophet's birthday was introduced by people who cursed the companions. That's historic, and that's the reality. So if you go back and you check that, you will find that's the origin. Now the question remains is, how can I think that person who curses the companion is going to give me something good? So instead of the people bringing the proofs to show what I was doing was wrong, they just was attacking. I said, no problem. The next year, I gave a khutbah in the same masjid. And I said in the khutbah, I will give 500 pounds to anybody in this masjid if you could just bring the dalil that the mawlid is from the religion, so I can correct myself and tell people do the mawlid. Not a single person came after the salah. So every year I did that. When the next year came, I said, last year I offered 500 pounds. This year we're going to add on 5. So it's 1,000. The next year, 1,500. Next year, 2,000. Next year, until I was there, it was 10,000 pounds. Now I want to ask you guys about Allah. Actually, what's your name? Hussein. Oh, you're Hussein from when I came. Hiyakum Allah, Hussein. Hussein. And I ask all of you, if you had the ability to make 10,000 pounds in less than 2 minutes without doing anything haram, 10,000 pounds in less than 1 minute, 60 seconds, would anyone who has his aql say no? With anyone? You're not going to do anything haram. All you have to do is bring a dalil. That's all you have. And you'll get 10,000 pounds. Is that a difficult thing or is it an easy thing? What do you guys think? Difficult, easy. What do you think people say?
Easy.
Easy. If someone said to me, Abu Usamah, come in and explain what an algorithm is and we'll give you 10,000 pounds. I don't know what an algorithm is, but I'll get up and I'll start talking to try to get the money because 50-50. So the person cannot prove. And I say right now, 10,000 pounds to anybody in this dunya who can prove something like the mawlid is from our religion. But no one's going to be able to prove it. And when the person can't prove it, he gets mad. But isn't that a dalil? That's what happened with Ibrahim. When Ibrahim, salawatullahi wassalamu alayhi, was telling his people, don't worship these idols. They got mad. They got upset with him. They got upset with Rasulullah sallallahu. They got mad. Don't get mad and angry and upset. Just come and prove what he's doing is wrong and prove what you're doing is right. Don't be immature. So similar to the mawlid, that's just an example. That's just an example. The same thing holds true for things like fasting on the day of Ashura. This is the day of Ashura. I want to say, first thing, Ashura, Ikhwani, the great scholar of Islam, and Imam Ibn Taymiyyah, and other than him, he said, the only thing that is legislated in the religion on Ashura, the only thing is we fast. That's it. Nothing else is mashru'. Nothing. So I've been in Muslim countries around the world on the day of Ashura, and these are Muslims of the Sunnah. So they wear their best clothes. The people will go and ask forgiveness from each other and the neighbors. So on that day, the people say, would you forgive me if I did anything for you? And he say, yeah, would you forgive me on the day of Ashura? Some people come together and they make a special dhikr. Now, I know that there's some people from our community who say, why are you talking about this? Why? I'm talking about this because we have changed our religion as Muslims. Wallahi. The religion that the Muslims are on right now, they're Muslims. But as the companions used to say, the companions said to the ones they taught from the Tabi'een, they said to them, the only thing we recognize from the religion that the Prophet brought is the salat. But you people, we've lost the amana, we lost the khushu', we lost many things. So right now, the way we practice the religion, I'm not putting anybody down, but it's the reality. The way we practice religion. Some of the ideas and the concept. This brother, one of the brothers brought me, was showing me a video about ex-Muslims. People apostated. And it's not one, two, it's many. And then in the comments, there are other Muslims who are about to apostate who are also confused.com about Islam. Confused. Because if I grow my son up and I'm teaching my son the khurafat of Pakistan, of Sudan, of Somalia, the khurafat, the child is going to grow up and when that bros is going to be a tabi' to every na'iq. Every na'iq. Because I didn't teach him. Like when I was a Christian. Wallahi, I didn't believe that stuff. I didn't believe it. Because when I went to church, it didn't make sense. I was sitting there, nothing made sense to me. So when I found Islam, it was easy to leave that. Easy, because it didn't make sense. If my child doesn't know Islam, he doesn't know Islam, and he's from the millennials, 2021, my child will get approached by someone who will show him how religion is no good. And then someone in the community says, why are you talking about this? The reason why I'm talking about it, because I'm not from your jama'at to siyasiyah. I'm not from your jama'at that want to teach about stuff to the community, and the community, the tasawwur of Islam is a problem. It's a problem. So as it relates to the fasting of today, the only thing that we do from our religion on this day is fast. There's nothing else special. No special dhikr, no special dua on the day of Arafah. What's the dua of Arafah? What's the dua of Arafah? La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa ala kulli shay'in qadir. What is the dua for Laylatul Qadr? Allahumma innaka afuwun tuhibbul afu. Laylatul Qadr. That's the best dua to say. What is the best dua for Ashura? There's no special dua. You make whatever dua you want to make. So I want you to understand that doesn't mean you can't make more salat. That doesn't mean you can't make dhikr. Normally you won't make the adhkar after salat. But today you are because you're fasting. You can make those adhkar. I'm just saying there's nothing special to do. You guys got that? There's no special meal. There's no special dua. There's no special thing to do other than to fast on this day. There was a man, before we move on, he was a companion. His name was Abu Israel, was his kunya. Abu Israel. Some people make inkar if you call your son Israel, when in fact Israel is just the other name of Yaqub. Salawatullahi wassalamu alayhi. Bani Israel, the children of Yaqub. The companion, his name was Abu Israel. So he named his son Israel, and the Prophet aqarru ala dhalika sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So it's permissible. Rasulullah saw the man over there standing up. He said, who is that and what is he doing? The man was standing up in the sun. You got to remember this hadith because it'll come up and you'll need it in the future. He said, who is that and what is he doing? The question, who is that and what is he doing, is a dalil. Rasulullah doesn't know the ilm al-ghayb, or he wouldn't ask that question. We have Muslims who say and believe Prophet Muhammad knows the unseen. And then the person says, why are you talking about that right now? How in the world, like in Afghanistan, we said, alhamdulillah, the Afghanistan people, they have taken back their country, and we love to see the freedom of the Muslims. Get those people after 40 years, over 1 million people murdered with immunity and impunity from American NATO and all that. We're happy for that. But we have to make dua. Oh Allah, help those Afghanis to do the Islam the right way. Because if just a few people did correct Islam, Allah promised that He's going to give them the tamkeen in the earth and all of that. But we want the khilafah and tamkeen, but we do it the wrong way. What we're doing. Rasulullah knows the ilm al-ghayb. Only Allah knows ilm al-ghayb. So he said, who is that? They said, Ya Rasulullah, that's Abu Israel. He's taken he did an oath that he'll stand up in the sun and he won't sit down and he won't talk to anybody and he's going to fast all day. So he took an oath, stand up in the sun where it's hot, and he's going to stay quiet. So if you come to him and you say, Salaam alaikum, he's not going to say anything because he wants to get close to Allah, showing discipline. It's like the companions with their ikhlas. They went to the Prophet to make his dan. They said, Ya Rasulullah, idhin lana, give us permission to cut off our private parts so that he wouldn't have a need or desire for women. That's ikhlas. Ya Rasulullah, I want to focus on Allah and the akhirah and the zuhd and wara. And I want to make the taqarrub bil Allah. So give us permission. They were ready. Rasulullah said, I wasn't sent with that religion. I'm not sent with that. You don't get married. The lady in the church marries God, so she don't get married. No. Celibacy. No. Whoever got married, he completed half of his religion. That's natural. Allah created everything in pairs. Everything has pairs. Up, down, white, black, haq, batil, tawheed, shirk, sunnah, bid'ah, man, woman, old, young, white, black. So those companions, give us permission. He said no. And then he told them why, and he read the ayah. رُهْبَانِيَةٍ ابْتَدُعُوهَا مَا كَتَبْنَاهَا عَلَيْهِمْ. Allah said, this is a asceticism that Allah didn't tell them to do. He said, so you can't do that in our religion. The lady came. The lady tied a rope from this wall to that wall in Prophet Muhammad's masjid. And it was tight. And she was praying Qiyam al-Layl. When she got tired, she would hold on to the rope. Rasulullah saw the rope and said, whose rope is this? If he knew the ilm al-ghayb, he wouldn't ask, whose rope is this? Whose rope is this? Who tied this rope? The lady said, I did, Ya Rasulullah, so I could pay. So if I get tired, I hold on. He said, when you have nashat and you active, pray. When you get nu'as, when you get tired, stop praying. Because you may say something, you want to make dua, but you make dua against yourself because you're tired. So he told him, cut that rope down. Because you don't go overboard in our religion. So when the Prophet heard about what he was doing, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, go and tell that man. Tell him to get out of the sun. Because all he's doing is oppressing himself. Staying in the sun just to be in the sun. There's no rewards in that. There are no rewards in that. Let me ask you a question. The rain. Is getting in the rain ibadah? Do you get rewarded for going in the rain? Anybody? Do you get barakah, ajr, thawab? I just said, Rasulullah said to that man, tell him, get out of the sun. Tell him to sit down. Tell him to talk to people and tell him to keep his fast. His fast is from Islam. He could continue that. But that other stuff is not from Islam. Like on the day of Ashura. Special meals, asking for forgiveness, giving gifts, all of that stuff. If you want to give gifts and meals, just don't believe it's from this thing, because it's a normal day. So back to the point. It starts to rain right now. I want to go outside and get in the rain. I hear it's raining. I'm going to go outside, get in the rain. Do I get a reward for that? That's a question.
No.
No? Good job. No. Why not? I'm going to come back wet. Anybody else? All right.
Yes,
Understand the point. Understand the point. That man, radiyallahu anhu, I don't want to say that guy, a'udhu billah. That companion who was standing in the sun, and the sun is hot, especially when you come from Africa. I think all of us come from very hot places, Libya, Pakistan, Sudan. We have hot sun. But the hottest sun is in Gambia. I think that's the hottest sun in Senegal. It's the hottest sun in the world. Anyway, the sun was hot. And some people, they go to the Zawi or whatever, and they're in the sun. No reward from that. But there is reward for getting in the rain. There is reward. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam took his saddle that he ride the animal. He was in his house. He brought his saddle and he put it outside when it was raining. He went and got his spear. He got his sword. He went and he put it by the saddle. Sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He went and got Hassan and Hussein and he brought them out. And when the rain came down at the beginning, the rain got on him, and then he brought everything back in and he went in. They said, why did you do that, Ya Rasulullah? He said, because the rain just came down recently from my Lord and I wanted to get the barakah. So that shows us a lot of things. He said that the rain just came down recently from my Lord. So I did this to get the barakah. That goes to show, number one, in Islam, everything about our life has been explained. How to dress, how to sit, what to do with your hair, what not to do with your hair, how to eat, how not to eat, how to go to the toilet, akramakumullah. You remember that. وَنَزَّلْنَا, we sent down this book and it's tibyan li kulli shay, everything you need to know. So you want to get barakah. You go outside, you have your baby, you have your son, you go outside. But did the hadith say you go outside and the rain keep coming down? You have your baby out there and the rain keep coming down. And the rain is in the face of your baby. And your wife or your mother say, hey, come back in the house. You say, no, it's barakah from the rain, Prophet Muhammad said. We're not talking, it's not like that. You just go out and get a little rain and you come back in. Don't go overboard. That's the point. Another thing from that hadith, that the religion explains everything. The hadith also goes to show clearly one of the many proofs. If you ask the Muslim, where is Allah? Like the Prophet asked the slave girl, where is Allah? That slave girl, she was a slave, an amma. She belonged to another man from the companion. That man got mad at her, angry, and he slapped her, slapped in her face. And you're not supposed to slap people in the face in Islam. He slapped her, but he became, sorry. He became sorry. He went and said, Ya Rasulullah, she made me upset and I slapped her. Rasulullah said, okay, come lady. The lady came. He said, who am I? The lady said, you're Rasulullah. He said, and Allah, where is Allah? The lady pointed to the sky and said, he's over the heavens. As he said in the Quran, Ar-Rahman, Al-Arsh istawa. All of those ayats. That's what the Prophet said to the man, let her go. She's a mu'minah. Free her. And he freed her. If you tell this to the Muslims that Allah is everywhere in his ability to hear, in his ability to see, in his knowledge, Allah knows every detail about everybody here, every step that you've taken in your life. Allah knows every breath that you've taken in your life, every dream, every grain of sand, every grain of rice. Allah knows all of that. Every raindrop that ever fell from the sky, every angel, every jinn, every human being, every thought. He's everywhere. He's with you wherever you are, with his knowledge, his ability to see and hear. But Allah is above the seven heavens in a way that befits his majesty. Proof of that, this hadith of the rain. The rain just came recently from our Lord. But if you say this to the Muslim, he gets angry with you. He doesn't like this kalam. He wants you to give him qasas of khurafat, of the awliya. And he feels good about that. You know it's a problem. So as it relates to this issue, we worship Allah only with that which Allah has legislated on this day, Ashura. It has nothing to do with the great grandson, the great person, the grandson of Rasulullah, who he loved a lot, Hussein, has nothing to do with him. The third point that we want to mention is historically, listen. In Jahiliyyah, the Kuffar of Quraysh, they used to do certain things that we do in Islam. For an example, Umar. He came and he said, Ya Rasulullah, I took an oath to make i'tikaf in the Kaaba. In Jahiliyyah, before I was a Muslim, I made an oath in Jahiliyyah to do i'tikaf in the Kaaba. Should I do my oath? Because now I'm a Muslim, before I was a Kafir. Rasulullah said, yes, oath, be never. Go and do your oath. So they were doing i'tikaf in Mecca in Jahiliyyah, and they were mushrikun. They were making tawaf around the Kaaba in Jahiliyyah, and they were mushrikun. They believed in Allah in Jahiliyyah, and they were mushrikun. So one of the things they used to do in Jahiliyyah is Quraysh used to fast on this day, the 10th day of Ashura. They used to fast. This is a big day today. Maybe it was because being in Mecca, they did have some information about the previous prophets. They knew about Ibrahim. They knew about Ismail. They knew about Musa. Because if you recall in the incident, Iqra, Bismi Rabbika alladhi khalaq, when that incident happened and Rasulullah went to his family and told them, cover me up, zammiluni. When he told Khadija the story, she said, that's the namus that used to come to Musa. That's the namus, meaning Jibril. How did she know that? She wasn't a Muslim yet. But when he came and described Jibril and what happened, she said, Allah won't forsake you. You do this with the neighbor, you're good, you're gentle, you're kinsman, you're that. She said, but this story, that is Jibril, who used to come to Musa. Where did Khadija get that from? Because Quraysh has some knowledge, background knowledge, being in Mecca. And as we told our students today, the prophets and the messengers all believed in the Shahadatain, and that they was the Rasul, La ilaha illallah, and they was the Rasul of Allah. All of them made salah. Inna ma'ashurul al-anbiya, umurna bi-thalatha. All of the prophets made salah like this, as we were telling our kids today. All of them prayed. All of the books that we know were revealed in the blessed month of Ramadan. Doesn't mean they fasted Ramadan, but those books were revealed in Ramadan. Kutiba alaykum as-siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum. Hajj, all of them made Hajj. All of them, or it was in their religion. The 6 arkan of Islam, believing in Allah, the Malaika, the books, believing in the prophets, believing in the Yawm al-Qiyamah, believing in the Qadr. All of the prophets called to that. All of them. So this issue, Quraysh used to fast Ashura. And Rasulullah used to fast Ashura in Jahiliyyah. So it was common with them. And then he became a Muslim. When he became a Muslim and he became a Nabi, fasting is important. Allah made fasting on the day of Ashura at the beginning. That was the only day that the Muslims used to fast. It was Ashura. Prophet Muhammad came to Medina, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He saw the Jews fasting. He said to the people, what are they doing? If he knows the ilm al-ghayb, this is one dars today. And already we've given you 5, 6 different situations. He's asking the people, what is this? Whose is this? Who did that? If he had the ilm al-ghayb, he never would ask those questions. But someone from our community will sit there and say, wallahi, he knows the ilm al-ghayb. No, only Allah knows the unseen. Only Allah. He doesn't know. So when he saw those people were doing what they were doing, he said, what are they doing? They told him the story. This is the day that Allah saved Musa and Bani Israel from Fir'aun. This day, today, historically. It's a big day. Musa was not a small prophet. There's no prophet in the Quran, no Rasul in the Quran who was mentioned more than Musa's story. He's mentioned more than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, more than Isa, more than Ibrahim. His story is mentioned in detail more than anybody. Why? Because he's a tremendous Nabi, a tremendous Rasul. And his story is on another level in terms of benefit. When Prophet Muhammad heard that, he said, "Nahnu ahaqqu wa awla bi Musa minkum." We are closer to Musa than you are. Muslims are closer to Musa than you are. Rayyan, what is the meaning? Muslims have more right and we're closer to Musa than you Yahud are. What does the meaning of that?
Our religion is like the religion of Musa, and your religion is
what Musa was doing, what Isa was doing, was Haq, Yaqub, what all of those prophets were doing. Muslims are closer to that if we're practicing our religion. But if we're not practicing our religion, we're not closer to Musa. We're not closer to Musa. But if we're practicing our religion correctly, we're closer to Musa than the Yahud. But I've been in New York where they have some Orthodox Hasidic Yahud. They have these long curls. And some of them really try to be religious and upright. Some of them. And they have monotheism. They only believe in one creator. They don't believe in all this other stuff. Now, their religion is naqis. It's not complete, but they are sincere, it seems, and they're trying. So this person who's doing that, and he is a Muslim, he's not doing anything in his religion. He's not doing anything. But if he's practicing his religion, just the basics, he's closer to Musa and Isa and all of them. Because we're in a religion that supports all of that. So the Prophet said, if I live next year, I'm going to fast the day before or the day after. And then the next year came and he died. So he wound up only fasting on the 10th. But if you want to fast the 9th, if you want to fast the 9th, if you want to fast the 10th, if you want to fast the 11th, no problem. There are multiple things you could do. You don't have to fast because it was wajib in Jahiliyyah. It was wajib before Ramadan. And then when Ramadan came, it was obligated. So if you don't fast, you're not sinning. Second thing is, you can just fast today. Third thing is, you can fast the day before and on this day and the day after. And the last thing is what he says, sallallahu alayhi wa ala alihi wa sallam. He said in the authentic hadith, you should fast the day before it or a day after it. And the companion said that the Prophet said, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the best fast is the fast of this blessed month of Muharram, the month of Allah. So if you fast a lot of days, all of the things, you can do that. It's permissible because the hadith are general. But that's the reason behind this whole issue. Now, something I want to touch upon that's really important, and we're always telling our Shabbat this in the school, but we want to make it clear to you as well. When the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I'm going to fast next year, I'll fast the day before and after. Why do you think he said that? Who has an idea? Why the Jews were fasting on the 10th? He said, we have more rights to Musa than them. We're going to fast today. So everybody started fasting. And then he told them, if I live till next year, I'll fast the day before or after. Khalid, why do you think the Prophet said I'll fast an extra day before or after? Why do you think? No. Yes. Because he wanted to be different from the Jews. Because he wanted to be different from the Jews. Now, as the Imam, as a Muslim, as a father, I have to teach the community about community cohesion. I can't stay here and say, LBGT, we should beat them. LGBT, we should knock them and pour water on them. I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say LGBT, all that's haram, and I'll say it. It's not permissible. That's an abomination. You against the fitrah. I would never do something like that. But hitting that person, hurting that's not permissible. We got to pay attention to the law. We're citizens. We're citizens, right? So I'm going to say what the right religion is telling us, but I'm not going to be disrespectful. What about, as a Muslim, I have my own unique personality, my shakhsiyah, who I am, as Muslims. The Muslim woman, she wears hijab. She has to wear those clothes. One of the things that I saw about Afghanistan is the way the media is showing Afghanistan, is they're showing Afghanistan as being the example, the rams, the method for takhalluf. The way some reporter was, the day before Taliban took over, the day before, she was out giving interviews with no hijab on. And then when they took over, she had hijab. Now the people said, oh, maybe she put the hijab on because Taliban gonna get it. No, but she was doing that all the time. And she was out and about. But what she was trying to do was make the world look at her like she's oppressed. The Muslim woman is oppressed because she has to wear these clothes. So the point is, the Prophet always used to try to tell the Muslims, be different from the non-Muslims. All right, I'm going to choose you now. Give me some examples how the Nabi of Islam sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, be different from non-Muslims. Give us an example. You're the first one. What did he say? Be different in what? How? What did he tell us to do?
Fast different days from the Jews.
Huh?
Fast on a different day from the Jews.
Like what day?
Ashura.
Like Ashura. I thought she was going to say something else. That's a good one. That's a good one. Okay, you. Abdurrahman. He says, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, anyone who resembles a people is from them. Man tashabbaha biqawmin fahuwa minhu. Does that mean if you wear bantalon, that's haram to wear jeans, bantalon? No, it's not haram. You could wear what they wear, but you can't wear what they're known for. For an example, you ever see the priest in the church? You ever see the priest? You see that thing that he wears? Is anyone else known by that? Only him. So Muslim can't wear that thing. You see the Hindus, the ladies, they put that dot on their head. Do Muslim women put the dot on their head? Do Muslim women, Pakistan, India, Afghan, they put the dot on their head? No. So I saw Muslims on Halloween, trick or treat. Halloween, the Muslim girl was going as a Hindu lady with a dot on her head to get free sweets. No, man, you can't do that. All right, give me another example of what Prophet Muhammad said. Don't be like the non-Muslims. Huh? What happened? What happened? What's the story?
Oh, like how they call to prayer. So the Christians use bell.
The Rasul in the beginning of Islam in Medina, he wants to let the people, how are we going to let the people know? Come to the adhan, to the masjid. The companions saw in the dream that they had a horn from the sheep, from the ram, and he blow in the horn. When the people hear that, the Jews do that. They come to the temple. Prophet Muhammad said, I don't want that. Jews do that. Another man had a dream. He said we were hitting the bell, bling, 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 bling. Like you want to bring the camels in or something when they hit a bell. Come to the masjid. Yeah, I don't want that. Christians do that. The man came and said, Ya Rasulullah, I saw in a dream that we should say the adhan, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Rasulullah said, yes. He said, go and teach that adhan to Bilal, because Bilal's voice is stronger than yours. So the dream didn't come to the Nabi of Islam, came to another regular person, a regular person. He told the dream, and then they taught it to Bilal. So the Prophet wanted the salat. He says, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, as-salat khairul mawdu'. The salat is the best thing. And it was an issue he didn't want to copy from the Yahud and the Nasara. Good job, Abdurrahman. And there are a lot. I was hoping to see more hands. Irfan, you have one?
I don't know the story, but we go to the bathroom differently to other countries.
Going to the bathroom? I don't know that one. No, I don't know that one. I mean, we go with our right, we go in our left foot, come out our right foot, but I don't know anything about Ahlul Kitab about that. It could be, but I don't know. Anybody else? Yeah, go ahead, brother.
Keeping the lihya and trimming
Prophet Muhammad says, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, shorten your mustache, khaliful yahud, be different from the Jews. Shorten your mustache and grow your beard. He said, khaliful yahud, Sallu fi na'alikum. Be different from the Jews. Pray in your shoes. Now, we're not going to pray in our shoes in this masjid. But when the Prophet used to pray in his masjid, he prayed in his shoes most of the time. Because they didn't have carpet. And he told the people, pray in your shoes and be different from the Jews. They don't pray in their shoes. They don't pray in their shoes. So, you remember we were at the Eid? If someone wanted to keep his shoes on and pray like that, no problem. But unfortunately, again, if the Muslims see you praying in your shoes, they'll get upset. It's disrespectful to them. The Arabs, if you sit to the Arab with your foot like this, it's disrespectful. So if he makes sajda, if you make sajda, he's behind you and your shoes there, in the salah, he'll go like this. Oh, what are you doing? But Prophet Muhammad prayed in his shoes most of the time. If you wear your shoes going around the Kaaba for tawaf, you wear your shoes. You can move quicker. You can move as opposed to being barefoot. But if you wear your shoes going around the Kaaba, the Muslims are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? Or every time you go around, they're going, what are you doing? What are you doing? So the whole 7 times, all you're doing is saying, I'm wearing my shoes. I'm wearing my shoes. I'm wearing my shoes. Because they won't leave you. But the Prophet of Islam, when he made tawaf around the Kaaba on a camel, on a horse. Now, I'm not telling you to do this or that. I'm just saying these are one of the issues that, and they are many. Anybody else? There are a lot, but we got to move on. Anybody else? Anybody? What did the Prophet tell us to be different from the mushrikeen? Anybody else? Anybody? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he used to cut his hair, when he used to comb his hair, he used to put a part in the middle of his head and he would comb his hair this way. Or he would put a part on the left side because the Jews put the part on the right side. Something as simple as that. As simple as a haircut. So I came to this community after being in Liverpool, and in Liverpool, when the football team, the soccer team in Liverpool, I'm not into soccer, but because Mo Salah, he was nice, a nice person, helped Islam. May Allah bless him. And the other brother, Sadio Mane. You know Sadio Mane?
Yes, sir.
Mane? Yes, Sadio Mane. Huh? So they used to help me for the dawah. Sadio Mane especially. He used to give me 8, 9 tickets and I could choose the shabab and we go to the game and sit in the executive booth. So if the game is at 7, we go at 5 o'clock and we get a 5-course meal because they have 3 chefs in there and they have people come and serve you and you just eat and then you go out and watch the game. And then at halftime, you come back in and you eat donuts and all of that stuff. So the shabab, if they were good, answering questions, if they was in the class, if they was praying Fajr, they were the ones who I chose. Let's go. We had a ball. They were nice. Wallahi, it was nice there. But although I like Sadio Mane, I used to tell the brothers, hey, Sadio Mane is not our example. You know Muhammad Ali, the boxer? You know Muhammad Ali? When I was young, I loved Muhammad Ali. I loved him because he was strong mentally. He was the heavyweight champion of the world. And they wanted to send him to Vietnam to fight against Vietnamese who did nothing to black people. He said, I'm not going over there. Right here in America, you don't give me my rights. And you want me to go fight for somebody else? He said, I'm not going. And they took his championship for 3-4 years. And he was at the top of his game. Wallahi, I got love for Muhammad, respect for that man. I see him as an iconic figure. You know, in Hollywood, they call it the Walk of Fame, where you get a star on Hollywood Boulevard. You guys heard about that? Famous actors, famous. I'm not encouraging you to go buy movies and music. I'm talking about the culture. So if you're famous, they give you a star. They said to Muhammad Ali, we want to give you a star, and we want to put it. He said, no, my name is Muhammad, and that is after the name of Prophet Muhammad. His name shouldn't be on the floor. He said, I don't want that star. They said, okay. We won't put it on the floor. we'll put it on the corner of the building. He said, okay. So you get the Muslim today and they want to do something against Islam. So the point is, I love Muhammad Ali. But Muhammad Ali is not my example. Because Muhammad Ali says some things and he did things that go against the religion. So I can't accept that. Mo Salah, if he's my example, and I'm not talking bad about him, I'm just saying, don't look at any of these human beings like this as your examples. You have to look at Prophet Muhammad first and foremost, and then the prophets and the messengers, and then the companions. Because Muhammad Ali, he said one time, he was just joking, but he said that he was so fast, when he fight, he's so fast that he's so fast that he can, from the bed, he can get up out of the bed, go and turn the light off, come back in the bed, and even God don't even know he did it because he did it so fast. Now, as a Muslim, can I accept that statement of Muhammad Ali? No. When I hear that statement, I'm going to say, oh, I wish he didn't say that because I love him. But that statement, nah, I'm free from that statement. That statement is kufr. I'm not saying he's a kufr because he didn't mean it like that. But you don't joke like that. I want to ask you guys, can someone do something and Allah not know about it? So he was just joking. He was trying to be funny. But you can't be funny like that. So Mo Salah, this is the point. You know how his hair is? The Shabab in Liverpool, all of them were running around with their hair like Mo Salah. So we gave the khutbah talking about how Islam told us what to do with our hair. The two men came to the Prophet ﷺ from Persia. They came from the Persian king to the Nabi of Islam. They had big mustaches. Like the British used to do. You know what I'm talking about? You know how the British, they still do that. Some Pakistani people do that. When I went to Sudan, I saw Sudanese. He did that too. I saw that. But they had this like that. And they didn't have a debate. Prophet Muhammad said, who told you to do that? And they were very arrogant. They were very disrespectful to him through the whole trip. He asked them, who told you to do that? They said, our Lord, meaning the king. He said, and my Lord told me to trim my mustache and to leave my beard, being different from people like you. And he said about those guys, if it wasn't for the fact that messengers are not killed, I would have killed these two. Because they were so disrespectful to him. In front of the companions, they had no respect. Rasulullah said, if it was permissible to kill a messenger, I'd have killed these two. But you can't kill a messenger. That's universal. He is the messenger. He has immunity. You understand? So the point is, ikhwani wa shahidu min al-kalam, there are many things that we see the Nabi doing. I thought you guys would have known a lot more. At the top of the list, we don't make shirk. We don't make shirk. وَلَا تَكُونُوا كَالَّذِينَ نَسُوا اللَّهَ فَأَنْسَاهُمُ اللَّهُ أَنفُسَهُمْ. Those people forgot about Allah and they made shirk. That's at the top of the list. We don't make shirk like those people. And there are many, many other things. So in going to the next point, ikhwani, this is an important lesson from the day of Ashura, that this is a lesson of being different from the disbelievers. And as fathers, we have to teach our people in a balanced way. As teachers, we have to teach our community in a balanced way. We don't want to be like the rough, tough brothers who teach people, we have to be detached from people. No, we live here. We're not second-class citizens. We're not apologizing to anybody about our religion. But you have a level of responsibility to maintain and to hold on to your Islamic identity. And one of the big tahaddiyat of being here, you chose to bring your kids here. You did. And I'm not blaming you. We want a better life. The first companions went to Ethiopia looking for a better life. Ethiopia was Darul Kufr. When they went there, they just went a better life. They left Mecca and they went there. So if a person goes to a place, get a better life in a non-Muslim country, as long as you can practice your religion, you can stay there. But in being here, we find our kids, your kids, saying God God didn't. God doesn't like. They don't mean anything bad. God did. Allah is not God. The word God is not equivalent to Allah. It doesn't mean Allah. And your child, he means Allah when he says it. I believe in God. But he does. You know this statement that some of the Asian brothers say? I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think they say Qud Hafiz or something like that. That is not an Islamic term. This God thing, Allah's Allah. Allah's not God. The monkey could be God. The elephant could be God. Your hawa, your desires could be God. The wife, power could be God. Allah is not God. Allah is Allah. So when you say, I believe in Allah, that's Allah. If you say, I believe in God, you could be believing in anything, anybody. So the vocabulary of our children, it starts to change. And you don't even realize it. You don't even recognize it. So from Ashura, it's one of the most important lessons. Being different from them. From being different from them after the Tawheed of Allah, be different from them with the Salah. The difference between them and us is Salah. Whoever leaves it, disbelief. What time is the event? 25. Okay, Ikhwani, you guys were just going to sit there. And I know your stomachs are hurting. You wasn't going to say anything. All right, we're going to stop here. Inshallah, may Allah Ta'ala accept everybody's fast. Barakallahu feek. After the Salah, we're going to have some food. So we encourage everybody to stay behind. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.